Hey there, this is Megan from MeganKCGuitar.com. How's it going? As you can see, I got myself a nice fluffy sweater because it got really cold where I live all of a sudden. So, fluffy sweater solves most problems in this circumstance. So, I wanted to give you a little lesson today. This could be, maybe you have a kid and you want to teach them some chords. Or maybe you yourself are trying to learn some chords and you're feeling really frustrated, like your hands just will not make those shapes and you need something that's a little more accessible. So I'll give you a little background. In order to make a chord, you only really need 3 separate notes. In the case of the guitar, that means you really only need 3 strings. If you've learned any chords, you'll know that a lot of the time you use 5 or 6. But you can make simplified versions of all these basic chords just by playing less strings. So we'll just jump right into it. When you play songs that center around the G chord, those are usually ones that are the easiest to play. So I'm going to teach you these chords in the context of the Beatles song Yellow Submarine, just because it's a really simple song, and the way the chords change between each other is just really great. I've given this song to kids who have only been playing for a week or two, and they usually amaze me with how well they do with it. So first of all, if you're familiar with the G chord, now I'm on capo too because I can't sing along with with that song unless I'm on the capo. So, but you can do these same things without a capo. So normally the G chord, looks like this. To make it simplified, all you do is you keep this 3rd finger on this 1st string on the 3rd fret. It's going to sound wrong if you strum all of the strings, but if you strum 4 or 3 or 4, it is the G chord. So all the notes you need to give that chord quality are present. Now, when you're in the key of G, a chord that's also really important is the C chord. So C, you may know as this shape right here, but if you were a brand new student or a child, I've taught the same chord to kids who are 5 and they can do it. So it's the 2nd string 1st fret by itself. And same idea, you have to pluck only the first 3 strings to make this the simplified version. So we had G, 4, 3, 2, 1, C, 3, 2, 1. Now if you're like, okay, well I have a hard time with the full C, but that's too easy, guess what? You can do it with 2 fingers and just play 4, 3, 2, 1. Just makes it a little bit more full sounding if you add that 1 string. So you have G and C. Now C leads very nicely into a version of the D chord that is usually a little bit easier for kids to play, and that is the D7. And this one is regular. There's nothing really simplified about it, but this seems to be a chord that little hands have an easier time with than others. So 1st finger goes on the 2nd string, 2nd finger goes on the 3rd string up on the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger goes on the 1st string. I like to tell kids that your finger's making a little triangle. And a really good thing to do is lift your fingers up and then put them back on the strings. If your fingers are able to maintain that shape, that shows that you have developed the muscle memory that you need to play this chord quickly. So that's a really good thing to do. Pull your hand away, try to make the shape before you actually get to the strings, and then put it back on. You're going to be terrible at this at first, and that's okay. It takes just a lot of repetition. So G, C, you keep your finger on this 2nd string while you add those other 2 for the D7. And you can play tons of songs with just those 3 chords, especially songs that are written for children. Mary Had a Little Lamb, London Bridges, Jingle Bells, just all those ones that kids love. They're usually very musically simple on purpose. So in order to play Yellow Submarine, we need 2 more chords. And these ones aren't really simplified either, although, and I don't think you need to simplify them because they're easy enough to do on their own. And one is the E minor. I think with E minor, the fingering you choose, you should be mindful about where you're headed next. So in this song, when you play E minor, you're going to be going straight to A minor. So it makes sense to use your middle finger, which we call number 2, You call the second finger on the 5th string, your 3rd finger on the D string on the 2nd fret there. So that's E minor. And kids love playing this one because you get to hit all 6 strings. It's nice and loud. And then we need A minor, which looks very similar to E minor. You're just going to keep these 2 fingers in the same shape, but move them to the 4th string and the 3rd string, and then add this finger on the 2nd string on the 1st fret like we had used in the C chord and in the D7. So this is something you're going to be using a lot. So there's your A minor. So here's what it looks like going from E minor to A minor. Now here is Yellow Submarine. You start with the G, and then very quickly you move to the D7. Now this 3rd finger is what's going to make that chord transition easier. In the tone, because you can just slide it back by 1 fret and then add those other 2 fingers. In the tone where I, here's the C chord, was born. G, D7, C, G. So the first chord you play is short and the second one is long. In the town where I was born. Here's your E minor. Lived a man. There's your A minor. Who sailed to sea. C to D7. I'll do that part again. E minor, A minor, C, D7. Lived a man who sailed to sea. And even if you're a kid and you're watching, if you're super slow at this, that's okay. It's still fun to play through, and it's still pretty cool when you can sing along even if you're going slower. So, lived a man who sailed to sea, and then it's the same thing. And he told, G to D7, us of his life, C to G. E minor in the land, A minor, of submarine, C to D7. We'll skip the next part so I can show you what the chorus is like, and that's pretty much it. It repeats the same chord patterns over and over. So for the chorus, all you need is the G, and again that little slide to get you to D7. So, and then we're just going to do downstrokes on our right hand. We all live in a yellow submarine. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, switch to D7. 1, 2, 3. A yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. And that's it. You're just going back and forth between G and D7. And really, as long as you're sticking with this movement of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you already know how to play the adult versions of those chords, the full versions, that sounds funny, full version, then you can use whatever strumming pattern you want, and you can use all the strings for the chords, and you can play along with whatever little person you are playing with. In a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. Okay, good luck with this. Share it with all the little people in your life. Subscribe and go visit my website for free stuff. Peace out.